You see, we have to go back to right after the time of Noah, where darkness again is upon the earth. And even though many of these communities have been seated in, the idea that any beings of light are upon the earth is no longer there. And the houses of the Lord are gone. And the noble messengers are being ignored. And the flood has occurred, and the earth has repopulated itself, and civilizations are beginning to grow. And we get to the point that we know of in our modern history and modern civilized man, where the most well-known civilization is in Babylon and Sumeria. And there we know that the paganism had got to such a degree that the idea of believing in the light, that there was one God or one creator, or that there was one plan for this earth, or that there was one plan of unity, or that the fundamentals of faith, that there was a God who has created angels of the light and other beings of smokeless fire, some of the light and some of darkness, for they have free will. And he has created man in many shades and many colors, not on just this earth, but on many planets throughout the universe. And he has sent prophets and messengers to every community and every tribe and every nation. And that there are succeeding prophets with books and scripture of the word, for mankind has been blessed with the word. And that all of this is the plan of your Lord, with a final day that is true, of reckoning of all things, and eternal punishment and reward for those rewarded for the acceptance and recognition of the truth of the oneness of all that the Lord has created, and those who always reject that truth, no matter what situation and scenario and timeline they are in, they always reject it. And this is an eternal understanding of the future, of the afterlife, and that all of this is by the plan of the Lord. And those of us who seek that path and that oneness begin to see the signs. But all of this was lost, and the planet was in chaos, and different races had come with their own different understanding of different beings from the stars, and many of them began to worship them in false ways, and the shadows and the dark ones and those who deceive pushed us deeper and darker into lower densities and dimensions, until the light was lost upon the earth. And for a while it appeared that the plan was no longer going to happen on this earth. And those who were in charge or overseeing the planet at the time of Babylon and Sumeria, those who now we call the Anunnaki, or the Gajiji, as some of them may call them, those who are now manipulating people into thinking that they are the creators of mankind, because they have been allowed to manipulate the dark ones both here on the earth and in other places. So long was their dominion that we have forgotten the truth, and the earth descended into darkness, and chaos reigned, and many of the civilizations of other realms came to the earth. Now, it is important, because we're talking about some of the facts that there are different levels, both within the earth and above in the heavens, that many people have a misunderstanding of time and concept of evolution, and how other beings could evolve in other timelines and other places. But just for one brief moment, let's imagine that one dimension or one density is on a single plane. And I want you to imagine that plane as a time plane, where the planets in our solar system revolve around the sun. And the essence of time exists based on our rotation in our solar system. Now, many people who talk about strange theories of a 10th planet or planet X talk about the fact that a different timeline or rotation line creates a whole different evolutionary cycle. Now, imagine, if you will, in this one-dimensional plane, imagine it like the open face of a Swiss clock. Many wheels all interacting and intersecting, of different sizes and different diameters. Now, as they rotate, each solar system has its own different cycle of time. They interact with other cycles, but they're all on different rotations. And so, while our cycle is 365 years, another solar system cycle could be totally different. But that is just a singular plane of looking at it and looking at time rotating in that way and realizing that going from one relationship to one solar system to another relationship would dramatically change your reality of time just on a singular plane. Then imagine multiple planes of existence. And the fact that you're not actually talking about a three-dimensional plane, you're talking about fractals and spirals, interweaving of time and space and consciousness and fields of so many dimensions, interacting at such an incredible level that the mandalas and fractal patterns of our third dimension are barely useful just to understand a glimmer of a glimpse of the understanding of the path that starts to synchronize in front of you when you are looking for it and seeing that within the chaos that appears to be chaos around everyone, there is a pattern. And within that chaos of the world, in that darkness of Babylon and Sumeria, of false gods and paganism, of that strange time in the houses of the royalty, in the family of the pagan royal houses, when all of our brothers and sisters of the higher dimensions thought that the sons of Adam were lost and the earth was going to be lost forever to the light, a child rises up who decides once and for all that this planet called Earth is going to be reclaimed for the light once again, and his name is Ibrahim, our father Abraham. Let me take a break before we get into Abraham and 2012 and the changes for the ascension. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.